to Jenny in Ohio. Jenny, we're live with Eric and Jim. Hi.
Hey, Jenny.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi. Oh, my gosh. I can't believe I got on the show. This is crazy. Okay. No, my son heard me on the TV. Now he's trying to come in. So first off, I want to say thank you, Eric, for last week talking to him from a place of empathy when you were talking about, like, the shame you felt after, you became an atheist. I totally related, and it was all based on fear, which is why I'm calling, because I am petrified of my father teaching my son religion the way he taught me. And the best example I can give is when I was 8, he explained to me what eternity was like. He said that imagine a granite mountain, just say 10,000 feet tall. Once every 10,000 years, an eagle will swoop down and brush against the mountain. By the time that's eroded away, that's a millisecond of eternity. Now, after he told me that, I literally ran and threw up.
Yeah, I think that is the correct response.
Kind of. That's just slightly the intensity of my father. If you take Sons of Anarchy, Taken, Christianity, and martial arts, that's my dad.
All right.
He's very
So we're going to be talking about boundaries, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to approach him on this topic because I am super closeted. They'll hate my husband if I come out, which I think is hysterical because I've been questioning them my whole life with this. And he's a pastor. Let's add that he's a pastor to the conversation.
Wait, your husband or your father?
My dad.
Oh, my.
Oh, no, my husband's an atheist. And the shame that I understood was he was scared to tell me he was an atheist because I don't remember saying this, but I believe I did, that if he ever told me he was an atheist, I would divorce him. Now, the hide-and-seek champion of the world has never helped me. Okay, I was always told to give the wheel to Jesus, and every time I did, he drove me into nothing but bullshit. Okay, he never, because he's not there, but I never had any of my prayers answered. My husband got me out of all of those horrible situations, and I was willing to walk away from that because I was petrified of that millisecond of eternity in hell.
Yep.
And now,
okay.
I don't know how to approach the subject with them.
Boy, that is a lot. So how to approach this subject with your father? Number one, has this come to a place where you feel like you need to? Obviously, you're calling in, so I would assume that's a yes.
Well, he wants to buy my son his first Bible and whatnot, which is fine. I had told them already I want my son to study and figure out exactly what he wants. I want him to find evidence for whatever he wants to follow. He hears me and my husband talk, and he's obsessed with science. I highly doubt he's going to be Christian. But even if he doesn't follow that path, those stories are scary. They're petrifying.
They are.
I don't even remember a time where I didn't know about hell. I do not remember a time where I didn't know about hell and how hot it was.
I think Jim nailed this from the beginning. Setting boundaries is going to be a very, very important.
I think you have two separate things to address. The first is you are the parent and setting boundaries and say, Dad, when you talk to me about hell, it scared me, it petrified me, I vomited. It is still shaking me to this day. When it comes to religious instruction for my son, here's what I want. And then you set out that boundaries of, we are the parents, we are going to take care of his instruction.
Yeah.
And you can set those clear boundaries. It's a very separate conversation whether you're an atheist or not. It has nothing to do with it.
Then here's my fear is I really worry that he's going to go down that. I still lead the family in prayer and everything else. And it is the most annoying thing in the world to visit your fundamentalist father pastor's house and pretend to agree with all of the horrible, just disgusting things that are talked about.
Then Jenny, definitely. I've seen this talking to people a lot of times, and I'm sure Jim, you have too. When you don't set those boundaries, it leads to resentment, which leads to anger, which leads to burnt bridges. And anger leads to hate.
Can I also
hate
say
leads
I
to the
work
dark
for
side. Oh my goodness.
Can you make this more complicated?
I'm going to, yeah.
Well,
Going back
you know,
to
I was
school.
I was talking to somebody who said you know, that they were able to shut down that religious thing at work without even saying that they were an atheist. Yes. And so what they did was they said you know, it was just something everybody talked about in the office, was going to church and about their Christianity. And the boss walked up to him and said, "Hey, you know, are you going to our church event?" At which point he turned to the pastor, or not the pastor, he turned to his boss and said, "Would you ask me about how I have sex? Because this is a personal matter, and the way that I treat religion is personal. I don't talk about it with people, and I feel it's very inappropriate to talk about it with me. This is something that I'm handling, that I've got, and I'd appreciate it if you left that boundary alone." There are ways to firmly say, "I'm not going to go there."
Yeah, I think a lot of it, which, by the way, before we go any further, I am very happy with my life now. Becoming an atheist was the best 30-year-old birthday present I gave myself. The day before I turned 30, I just, you know, I went on a manic episode and I just researched like crazy, and I came up to that conclusion. So I am very happy with my life now. That doesn't mean I'm not going to seek therapy for all this or anything, but I just don't want anybody to think that I'm not living in fear anymore, except when it comes to this scenario.
Let me
honestly
preface what I'm going to say is, you know your family better than that. I mean, we only know what you told, so you have to make this consequence. And there's a couple ways to handle this, and you know which is best. You could sit down and say, "Dad, I'm an atheist," and just floor him and lay it all out and get it out of the way. You know, and depending on knowing your parents, do they love you more than they do their religion? Like,
no.
And then the second way is, it doesn't have to be about atheism. When they say horrible things about people, like their religion's anti-LGBT, stand up for the issue. When they go against abortion, stand up for the issue, or talk about how this makes you feel uncomfortable. And also, you can preface it with speaking in third person or party about issues. Like, so when you see something about, "Hey, Dad, did you see this thing happen in the paper about this humanist group or this separation of religion government? What do you think about?" And talk about it. And if he's like, "Oh, well, you know, they fed the home," or whatever they did, and it's positive, then you can talk about it. If he rips it apart, then avoid it. You're not on the hook. So talk about articles about these issues that you care about, or humanism or atheism, or about non-religious. Like, "Hey, did you see this couple?"
Yeah, I'm a humanist.
Yeah, but did you see this couple or this pastor, like, you know, or this parent shunned his son because he came out as an atheist? You know, what do you think about families doing that because they're gay? Or what if an atheist, like, what? And see what they say. And if he says, "Well, the religion comes forward," or "I would never do that, family comes first," you don't have to admit anything. You're just talking about this article that you did. And if you start doing that over weeks, months, years, by the time I came out and you come out and say, "I'm an atheist," you're gonna be, "What? Oh, well, yeah." But you already know the answer. If you start talking about these things, not as you personally, you can get a good feel of where they're gonna go. And you know what? You may be right, it could be horrible, or you may be wrong and it could be no big deal. Yeah. It's usually somewhere in between.
But
that is true.
But we do get the whole spectrum. I mean, here at the ACA, I meet people every day, some of whom have been disowned by their entire families, some of whom were surprised to find.
See, that's the thing. My mom would honestly probably have a heart attack, and I cannot die with my mom thinking I'm going to burn in hell, because she's heard the same stories.
Then, Jenny, you have your answer. It's not comfortable and it's not nice. But being true to yourself, you need to make that decision. And whatever that decision is, we're not going to be mad at you. We're not going to blame you or anything like that. We understand that in your life, you need to make decisions that are going to lead to your own happiness, right? And if you're going to, you know, prioritize your family not knowing to be able to salvage that relationship, no one here is upset with you. It's going to be okay. You know, if you decide
It sucks so bad because the rage I feel sometimes.
Then get online. Call us up. Get on Facebook. Get on Discord. We have people. Let's pop. You know what? I call it popping the cork. When I first started, I was a call screener for the Atheist Experience, and when I would screen calls, there would be people who would, for the very first time, talk to an atheist, and they've been an atheist for years, and they've never had the chance to interact. And you pop the cork, and it's a life. You know,
I do have a lot of my friends when they're mostly guys, and when they found out I was atheist, like I swear to God, that night I got like at least 20 different videos. You guys were in there, and so was everything. And I swear to God, it was hysterical. They're still sending me shit, and they come over every week. I'm like, okay, listen, it's been a year. Yeah. I promise. I'm watching everything.
But get in touch with us, and we can help with some of that frustration talking about it.
Jenny, are you part of any local community there in Ohio? Because they have a strong. I mean, I'm near Cincinnati, so I'm very familiar with Ohio.
Oh no, I haven't. I'm honestly, that's another thing. I'm scared to get in something around here because my dad knows too many people. It's stupid.
If only we knew people who could find something for you to do to get involved in Ohio. Jim, do you know anybody?
I may know. So if you would like to leave your contact information, I'd be happy to talk to you kind of offline.
It's right at the bottom of the screen, mail@talkheathen.com. But Jenny, I think we're kind of started to run afield, and we need to kind of rein it back in. I've got one more caller.
I'm saying, yeah.
Thank you,
All
Jenny.
right, take care.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
All right, last caller. Ready?